I'm still here. Uh-oh. So I'm here, and I think I got myself in a little bit of trouble. Pippi warned me. Pippi Longstocking warned me when I saw her overseas, traveling on her boat, not to go to Christine's schools. Well, I was sick of hiding out in the she shed. So I went to Christine's school. Yeah, I went to both of them. And I think I got myself in a little bit of a situation. And I did not mean to. So I showed up to her first school. And man, I don't have kids, so I'm not used to this. This kid touched me. And I looked at him and he was like, "Are you Christine?" And I'm like, "No, I'm Carmen Sandiego." I said, "Why don't you shake your hand to my hands? Let's shake hands and you can introduce yourself." So this little boy says, "Hi, my name is," and I was like, "Well, nice to meet you. In my country, we introduce ourselves." And so the next thing you know, I've got all these little kids coming up to me wanting to introduce themselves. Then the next thing happens. I'm in the classroom and a kid touched my hair and I was like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Your hair." And I'm like, in my country, we don't touch someone else's hair without asking. And the kid looked at me and they're like, "What's your name?" And I said, "I'm Carmen Sandiego." And I said, "Do you want to touch my hair?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, what do you say?" And he said, "Please." So I let him touch my hair. Well, then the next thing you know, this kid runs up and they touch my hat. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" In my country, we don't touch someone else without asking for permission. So all the kids started asking for permission. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. I'm not used to all this huggy, touchy, feely things. So then I sat down to tell him a story about my cat because I still can't find my cat. So I'm looking for my cat, Carmine, who stole an artifact from Egypt. And now I did find out. Zach and Ivy got a hold of me. And they told him that she is back in Monaco. So that's where I'm off to next. So the next thing I know, these kids are around me listening to this adventure of mine. And then I tell them I stole Christine's car, that I met her cousin Pippi Longstocking, and I stole her car. And in the car, guess what I found? I found a pumpkin. I found a pumpkin, and I was telling the kids about my pumpkin. Here's my pumpkin. And in the pumpkin was candy. And I said to these kids, "Do you guys take siestas around here?" And they're like, "Yes." "You take naps, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "If you're good during nap time, I will give you something outside of the pumpkin." And then the little boy yells out, "Is there guts in your pumpkin?" And I'm like, "What?" I looked at those girls and I said, "What kind of country you guys run? You have guts in your pumpkins?" And I looked at the little boy and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure there's chocolate in the pumpkin." So I don't know. It was very crazy. So I kind of took over one of the classrooms and the kids got up out of the table without asking for permission. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And the child stared at me and I said, "You know what? In my country, my kids, they raise their hand. They sit in their chair and they raise their hand to be called up on. And they're quiet." And this little boy raised his hand and I said, "Yes." And he goes, "May I please?" And he asked me a question and I answered it. And man, the teachers looked at me and they said, "Their manners are so good." They said, "Carmen, you need to come back more often." And I was like, "I'm just hiding out. I'm not here to take over a classroom." I don't take classrooms. I take Mona Lisa's smile and I give it back. But I said to the kids, "Remember, I've got this pumpkin that I stole from Christine's car, but don't tell her I stole a pumpkin. You can't even tell her I was here." And the kids are like, "We won't tell her." And then one kid yelled, "Yes." And I'm like, son of a gun, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Then I went over to the other school, and now this is where I really got into a pickle. I am in a lot of trouble. I stole Christine's phone, and the phone rang. As I'm talking to the students, oh yeah, they got off their letter. And I looked at them, and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "In my country, my kids stay on their letter." They ran to the letter. The teachers looked at me, and I said, "What?" And they're like, "They listen to you." And I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. Everyone listens to me. I'm Carmen Sandiego." So anyways, they ran to the letter. Christine's phone rings. I answer Christine's phone as Carmen Sandiego. And this happened. And I am in so much trouble. And I'm pretty sure Christine's going to find out. It was her husband. And he was at the bank. And I kind of maybe said, "Well, we're not doing a bank heist right now. Do whatever you need to do with the documents." And I hung up. Yeah. So I hung up. So then I go back to the other school in the afternoon. A teacher comes over and they said, Carmen, and I said, yes, we have a problem. And I said, what? They said, they think Christine's sister is robbing a bank. And I said, what? Yep. This is not good. I had to get on Christine's phone and text this parent, acting like Christine, telling her that Carmen Sandiego came by and my sister is not robbing a bank. So now they think a sister is robbing a bank. I don't even want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I am getting out of town. I'm going to find my red helicopter and I am flying away to go get my cat in Monaco and see Ivy and Zach. And hopefully nothing else crazy happens tomorrow. Pippi said she got in a lot of trouble last year when Christine got back because she got a phone call and she was like not happy that she was at her centers talking to all the kids. So anyways, I have to get going. You all have a great day. And remember, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? You will never know. She is gone.